Fi.
Yep.
And this is just old school. A bunch of card advantage, a bunch of removal, and a bunch of counter spells.
He's playing against Wilson Hunter, a player that we saw make the top 8 of our Season 1 Invitational. We were in Charlotte way back when. He's playing Mardu tokens. He's got Raise the Alarm. He's got Hordling Outburst, Goblin Rabblemaster, Butcher the Horde, Sorin, Wingmate Rock, Doomwake Giant.
So, a lot of creatures.
Yeah. He's got a main deck Arc Lightning, like another member of Team Braverman and Philip Braverman. They're playing a similar version of this Mardu deck. But Davis looks like he might be in control of things right now as we do jump into this one. He just played a Bramaz before passing the turn back. However, Crackling Doom's looking to make life difficult, but here's a timely negate to take care of that.
So many counterspells in Jim Davis's control deck.
That's what I actually liked about his deck. A lot of, because counterspells isn't really something we see a lot of right now.
No, not a lot.
He has a lot of answers to that, and he has a lot of answers to Whip of Erebos. I think that's a pretty good spot to be at this point. And Jeskai Ascendancy, to be fair.
Yeah, having access to 3 erase in the sideboard. The only thing that I really miss from Davis's deck is Perilous Vault. Now, obviously, it doesn't interact well with his Banishing Light. He has to choose one way or the other, and he went the Banishing Light route. But kind of feel like Perilous Vault is just such an important way for control decks to try to keep up. But it might just be a really savvy metagame call, seeing as so many other people are playing Utter End and Reclamation Sage. Maybe it's just, you know, Perilous Vault is too vulnerable right now.
We saw Bramaz attack last turn. Davis to play the Tranquil Cove as his land, gained a life. He's up to 13. Hunter's at 17. He's casting a copy of Hordling Outburst. Davis with 2 cards in his hand. One of them is Dig Through Time. So we're working our way into the late game here, which I imagine does favor Jim.
Yeah, generally the ability of Elspeth to just take over this game is the primary way to beat the Mardu tokens decks. However, Dig Through Time can also just create kind of a chaining sequence of advantages.
Oh, Hordling Outburst is going to resolve. You see Hunter's hand. He's got a Doomwake Giant and a Swamp left over, but Davis says, I will cast a Dig Through Time, delving 1 card away. That'll be the negate. So we'll take a look at the top 7 and choose 2 of them. It's no Sphinx's Revelation, but it's still quite good. Disdainful Stroke among the options here for Jim.
Yeah, he just needs to find something to kind of press his advantage. The Bramaz and Cat token mean that he's actually not too bad on board, but he needs to find something to actually start building the advantage.
Blue to Delta the draw for the turn. Looks like Jim has some interest in maybe getting into the red zone here.
Yeah, by getting in with both, he can effectively sweep most of Wilson's board if Wilson throws everything in front of the Bramaz, and then just drop the other Bramaz that he has in reserve.
And he took that off a Dig Through Time very quickly, actually, which I was a little surprised about. Didn't hesitate at all to take that card.
And he thinks better of it, deciding to keep the backup Bramaz to eventually combat a Murderous Cut, Hero's Downfall, Utter End, or Crackling Doom.
Jim going to sacrifice Blue to Delta very, very quickly here. Search up an island. Let's see what he's up to here in just a moment. Four mana. It's a copy of Whelming Wave?
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday when Sullivan and I were covering a match. Jim Davis's Whelming Wave in the sideboard, which he actually even includes an exclamation point because he's so excited about the tech. Whelming Wave, a very effective way to combat Raise the Alarm, Hordling Outburst, or get you caught back up against a Hornet Queen. Now, yeah, granted, the Hornet Queen, they could recast it to get the tokens again, but first, Davis could potentially Last Breath the Hornet Queen itself, or he could counter it when it comes back down.
So what he was able to do there, yeah, Disdainful Stroke can't be cast fast enough. That's actually a really nice turn there for Jim. Whelming Wave clears out all the Hordling Outburst tokens. He replays Bramaz, counters the spell on the way back down, and now he's getting back on the offensive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Whelming Wave, totally reasonable against token creatures. Not as good against Octopi.
True. Definitely true. Wingmate Rock, the draw for Wilson Hunter. He also has a copy of Doomwake Giant. Interested to see how Hunter wants to lead out here. Which 5-mana threat does he want to play first? It looks like it will be Doomwake Giant. David's just going to look at his copy of Bramaz in his hand and say, yeah, that resolves, kills my cat token.
Doomwake Giant, very effective against Bramaz. Just matches up very well all the way up and down.
Big draw there for Davis. A copy of Jason's Ingenuity is what he found on the top of his deck. He's casting that right away, just figuring out how he wants to tap his mana. So 3 cards coming here for Jim. See if he's able to find an answer to this Doomwake Giant. Elspeth among the cards he's found.
Wow, that's fantastic. Bramaz and Elspeth, such a good team. Elspeth being able to take down all of Bramaz's worst enemies. Well, Bramaz itself is not caught in the crossfire.
And Jim hasn't even played a land yet, so he's going to play Radiant Fountain. He'll gain 2 life. Now he will deploy the Elspeth, Sun's champion. I think we're going to see him minus that, because that will take care of the Doomwake Giant, and then he'll be able to continue his aggressive nature with this Bramaz. He'll give it some thought, though, here. Yep. He'll minus. In for 4, puts you down to 8.
And this has been a really impressive showing from Jim Davis's blue-white control deck. In blue-white control, a fringe archetype we've only seen a little bit. Second place at SCG Open a couple weeks ago.
Yep, up in Minneapolis.
But the showing that Jim Davis has had this weekend, it's been great. I mean, he's well positioned against the whip decks. Everything from Abzan Reanimator to anything that's a little more Green Devotion based. And he likes his traditional Abzan matchup.
Another Elspeth to draw here for Davis. Now keep in mind too, Jim had 2 buys coming in. Top 16 players on our leaderboard do get 2 buys for invitationals. He's going to play an Evolving Wilds here as his land for the turn. Probably get into the red zone here in just a moment, but he went 2-0 in the in the standard portion. His loss, we watched him play Storm, and he lost playing against Dylan Donegan, who was playing Blue Red Devils. That's his only loss, which we got to watch. And he might be on his way to being 3-0 here with blue-white control in standard. Again, a deck that we don't really even talk about. We don't see a lot of control decks in this format. He's going to take up Elspeth, make 3 soldiers before likely passing the turn back, because his hand are redundant copies of planeswalkers and legendary creatures in Bramaz and Elspeth.
I think a big part of the reason for blue-white control having a chance to kind of reemerge is that one of its weaknesses before was Jeskai aggro, an archetype that has all but fallen by the wayside. You know, he's a little bit better positioned against Jeskai tokens like Yuya's deck than actual Jeskai aggro, and having one less predator out there has made it a less hostile field. Additionally, he didn't want to have to face blue-black control decks, but they've completely disappeared.
Those are just gone.
Right.
Wingmate Rock's going to come in, trigger, gain a life. There goes Elspeth. Fortunately for Jim, he has another copy of that card. Here's Doomwake Giant. That's going to come down. Jim will take a look at, again, those 2 white cards in his hand. That's going to resolve. That'll clear those up.
Wow, what a battle. Wilson Hunter getting out from under the Elspeth.
I'm sure Jim was hoping that he didn't have an answer to be able to wrap it up with those tokens, but that's not the case. So he's going to search out of planes with his Evolving Wilds. You see the clock. We've got about 2 minutes left to go here in game number 3 for these players. Davis will draw. It's just a land.
Doomwake Giant once again stonewalling this Bramaz.
Yeah, Jim's going to have to make the play that we saw him make the previous turn, which is just likely playing Elspeth and minus this thing.
Yeah, unfortunately it means that Elspeth will die to the Wingmate Rock, but at least the Lion King will be able to get in for an attack this turn.
There's Elspeth. Likely going to see a tick down again, though he will start things on a 4 here in just a moment. Doesn't have a lot of time to spare, that's for sure. Down it goes. In for 4 he comes. Puts you down to 3. Tranquil Cove going to come in. He'll gain a life. Hunter will draw. Didn't get a great look at it. He does have a Crackling Doom in his hand right now. He'll play a Swamp. Will Wingmate Rock attack? It probably has to.
Yeah, I think he's got to start first, see if this Crackling Doom resolves, because it saves him a little bit of damage.
Yeah, that's a huge turn, killing both of those awesome permanents. And now he gets to attack her for 3 and then gain a life, so the token doesn't really do anything now.
Yeah, Wilson Hunter can stay ahead of the token. Davis is going to need to find something very quickly.
He did.
And he has that other Bramaz in reserve, but what's his other card?
Banishing Light.
Wow.
A big one.
That is a big one.
Now he's presenting lethal again as he quickly passes the turn back over to Hunter. Hunter will take a draw. It's spell. Didn't get a great look at the spell. Might be a copy of Raise the Alarm, not too sure. Looks like it might be the old school Mirrodin copy of Raise the Alarm.
He's deciding, does he want to try to play around negate? It's a tough decision.
Do you cast it now or do you wait if you're in his spot? Opponent has no cards now.
I think I would cast it later just in case of Banishing Light, but I don't know. I don't think you're beating a negate anyway.
Raise the Alarm? Well, it's not a negate that he drew. That's for sure. It's a little better than that. Wilson trying to figure out how to block. He's got to block Permaz no matter what. He'll block a token. And Jim said, I peeled an Elspeth. Thank you very much. 3 soldier
That's as
tokens
good as
coming.
they get.
Yes, sir. The draw here for Wilson Hunter. It's a Crackling Doom. That card's powerful, but not
Sends the
powerful
hand.
enough. Jim Davis going to win this match over Wilson Hunter.
Down to the wire.
Blue-white control, 8-1 right now. I know he's only played